What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down some of JAMARR Chase's high school route running. So we're going to be looking at three specific clips here. We're going to look at a post corner route, a sluggo route, and then a corner post route, and how you guys can create separation on some of those things, some of the key things that he does super well, and some of the key mistakes that he makes that a lot of common high school wide receivers make. So I hope this video helps you guys out. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want to improve, your route running skills, you want to improve your explosiveness, your speed, you want to know the exact exercises you need to do in the gym and on the field on a daily basis, check out that very first link in the description below for our ultimate wide receiver training schedule. It is a 1 month long daily gym and on-field workout split. We give you all the exercises with sets, reps, and examples of each one. So check out that very first link in the description below if you're interested in that. Let's get started with this video. So first route here is going to be this post corner from Chase. Now, one of the key things that he does super well on any kind of double move route is that he sells with full speed and he commits his upper half. So there are two things when it's man coverage that a DB is looking at. You could tell even right here where his eyes supposed to be. Eyes supposed to be on the hips. He's supposed to be reading that torso. So if that's where his eyes are, anytime that I'm doing a double move, any route that I'm running for that matter, whether it's a comeback to a 5-yard hitch, whether it's a post corner, whether it's just a 10-yard out, you have to sell with that upper half. So when he breaks to this post route at the top of the break, takes this outside release, when he breaks to that post, you see how his hips and his shoulders are committed to the post. I can't tell you how many wide receivers that are on the younger side of things will break to that post, and that shoulder and that hip will start to drift upfield. Now, the whole reason of this video is just to show, he's obviously a wide receiver that dominates in the NFL. He's playing at the highest possible level on a team that went to the Super Bowl, but these are some of the key things that I think all wide receivers at the high school age, youth age, can master if they have the right skills and they're thinking about the right things. So it goes to show, and the last example that we're going to show of him running a route is some of the key mistakes that he makes, and that a lot of other high school wide receivers make those mistakes as well. So again, a lot of guys, what they'll do, hips and shoulders will drift upfield, but that's not what he does. That's what will get this DB to commit. When he's watching your body, your hips and your shoulders go to that post, he's going to go to that post. If we don't commit to it, he's not going to commit to it. Now, the second thing that people will look for on a double move is that when they break, they'll take choppy steps. That's something that a DB is taught to look for, especially when he's in off coverage and you're running a route like a sluggo, you're running a route like a hitch and go. They look for those short, choppy steps because nobody runs a post like that. Nobody runs a slant like that. So when he breaks to this post, you see how he's gaining ground. He's breaking off at probably like the bottom of the numbers. And where does he end up making this third step? At like the top of the numbers. That's what we call gaining ground. Anytime that you guys are running a double move, you have to gain ground because that's what makes it actually look like a post, and that's what can get those DB's eyes in the backfield, draw a holding call, and be able to get us some separation, or obviously, a big reception downfield touchdown. So I hope that makes sense, you guys. On every single double move, he does such a great job of committing the upper body, commit the hips and shoulders, and run with full speed and full stride to sell it. Let's play it again, full speed one more time. Great job by Chase taking that outside release, full 3 steps on that post to create some separation. And that could be considered a post out as well. I feel like he flattened it off because of the holding call, but post corner, post out, same type of concept. Now, what he's going to be running right here is a sluggo route, so a slant and go. Now, this is pretty much the same concept as the post corner or the post out. You got to sell with the upper half. You got to run in full stride. But those are things that are very easily said and not so much easily done. It takes a lot of repetition. It takes a lot of time to build that ability and the ability to change direction while running full speed and in full stride. So let's play this thing full speed and then we'll talk about it. So he takes a 3-step slant. 3 steps on the slant, gets the DB to crash, and then he bursts back upfield. So 2 things I want to talk about here that he does very well. When you guys break on any double move and you have to break in one single step like this, this is the point of, this is the break point where, you may as a wide receiver know what to do. You may know that, okay, I need to run full speed. I need to run in full stride. But you just simply can't change direction doing that because you lack the technique of the cut and you lack the knee stability and ankle support or leg strength to make this type of cut. So that's like the happy balance, right? Like a lot of people, watch these videos and we talk a lot about the IQ side of things, what to do on a route. But a lot of times people might misconceive that as oh, I'm a beginner wide receiver. I could just go out there, run 15 yards in full stride as hard as I can and break right on a dime because I know that that's what I need to do. There are a lot of things that you need to build on to make these types of cuts. Yes, you have to know what to do, but you also have to rep it out. You got to have repetition. That's why there's a whole point of training. That's why off-season training is so important, and that's why it's so important that you're doing the correct things as a wide receiver to translate to on-field play, but doing the right things on field. So like wide receivers, what they'll do is this, I can't stand this. They'll work on their cuts like so to work on this sudden cut, but they'll have cones set up like 3 yards apart, and they'll just go back and forth and just zigzag through with choppy steps. How is that going to build into your actual game? Anybody that's trained with me before, that's came out to our camps, that's worked with me in person, knows that everything that we do is always in full stride, because that's how the game is played. We may not run 15 yards and cut in full stride, but I might have you take a full 3 steps, because those 3 steps will translate to an actual route. So when you do those 3 steps, when you are making these cuts, it is super important that this cut is sudden. Anytime that you are running full speed and you have to change direction, the cut has to be sudden. Now, the place where guys get confused with that sudden cut, they think that they got to step super hard and they'll step on their heels. You do not want to strike the ground on your heels, because that's a good way to get your leg to lock out and you could injure yourself. You want to strike the ground on that arch of the foot. I had somebody ask me the other day, I keep falling backwards on my cuts. And he said he was striking a lot on his heels. So when you're doing drill work, you're doing routes versus air, you have to be very mindful of that. You have to be thinking about, I'm striking the ground on the arch of my foot. Because if you're sudden and that arch strikes the ground, you can create a lot of energy. You can push off of that cut. You can drive off of that arch of the foot and get up into the top portion of a sluggo, get out of a post break when you make the cut, run a faster 10-yard speed out, whatever it is. But that foot strike on the arch can push you out of there. Now, to be efficient at that, there are some things you have to improve. When you're running with a lot of speed, you got to make sure that you have strong legs. That's why doing a lot of one-legged exercises, a lot of leg strengthening exercises in the gym is important for wide receivers. Doing a lot of one-legged, like hopping exercises on the field to build that ankle stability and that knee stability. Because if you can tie all those things together and you know what to do, you are going to be very, very tough to stop, you guys. Very tough to stop. You just have to make sure that we have a happy balance of both. So the real reason I want to include that is just to show that when you are selling routes, when you are making breaks look the exact same, everything looks like a fade, there's things that you can build on to make you more efficient at that specific cut. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Chase selling the slant, running full speed, full stride, keeping that head down after the break as well to widen the gap with that DB. So now, this is going to be that clip that I was talking about in the beginning where he maybe doesn't run as clean of a route as we would like. This isn't necessarily like the best route. This is more so a route where he gets kind of rerouted to the inside of the field. The spacing of the play might be a little off, whatever. I just want to talk about why. So if you guys saw, we broke down JAMARR Chase doing a split release the other day against the Kansas City Chiefs. And if you guys would like to see that, just find a way to contact me and I'll send that clip over to you. But he does a split release and he does a great job of dipping his shoulder on the release. On this, he does not do that. And this is a mistake that a lot of high school or younger wide receivers make, which is the point of this video. So let's play at full speed. So he does a split release, but he doesn't necessarily dip that shoulder and gets kind of forced all the way to the inside. And that might, now in one-on-ones, that might be cool because, again, there's no free safety and none of that. But in a real game, and maybe you're running this like corner post, for example, maybe you have something like a dig coming underneath or a 10-yard out, and you can't get rerouted that far inside. Because if you get rerouted like that, you might cause a collision. The spacing might be off to where a defender could cover both of you. You just have to make sure that we get back and we stay on this line. So what he decides to go with here is this thing we call a split release, whereas you bring your back foot even with your front foot and your front foot goes out. Now, this is a great release to kind of freeze a DB, hesitate, but mainly get a read on him. Because when you're come to balance like this with your feet, he could take an outside release and drive off of his right foot, open up with the left foot and go. He could take an inside release, drive off the left foot, open up with the right foot and go. But no matter what release you take, you got to work to restack, obviously, so we could keep spacing, like we said. So what he does right here, and what he should have done at least, is when he took that inside release, he should be dipping this left shoulder down. So dip this shoulder and rip under so he could get back over the top, almost like a D lineman. It's called a shoulder reduce. But what he does here is because the split release, he might freeze the DB, but he stays very tall. There's not much of a shoulder dip. When you stay tall like this, that allows that DB to get hands and force you to the inside, to reroute you, to jam you, and to screw up the timing. If he would have dipped, and I could tell he was trying to dip maybe a tad, but if he would dip a little bit lower right here, like right away, you freeze him and you dip right away, that can cause that DB to miss, or maybe his hands get on the top of your shoulder and we could shrug him off to get back over the top and restack. So that's just a common mistake. A lot of wide receivers, when they do any kind of hesitation release that are on the younger side, and again, you can always improve. You look at JAMARR Chase now, he rarely makes this mistake. He's one of the cleanest guys to do releases off the line, make moves at the top of the route. But again, younger wide receivers make this mistake. They do any kind of hesitation move, but they stay tall. Your mindset should always be restacking. Your mindset should always be staying in as an explosive position as possible. Never want to stand up and never want to try to run around, because a disciplined DB will get hands and reroute you. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Chase with the split. Just have to make sure that we dip that shoulder to try to restack. Don't give that DB an easy target to get hands on me. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. You guys help keep the channel going, so we always appreciate it. And again, fellas, if you would like a daily wide receiver ultimate training schedule for 1 full month, we give you all the exercises to build that leg strength, knee stability, ankle stability that we talked about on a daily basis with sets and reps. Check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.